Do I regret it? Yes, I much prefer to have stayed 100% natural, especially now looking back on YouTubers and so on. I had a great physique while being 100% natural, and now I'm on HRT, would not want to go off it, and that is for the rest of my life. Coach Greg, in today's video, can SARMs actually help you to build muscle? And so Dr. Mike Israetel from Renaissance Periodization, he made a video talking about, are SARMs actually effective? Do they work? What do you need to know about them? And so I'm going over his video. As you know, I've used SARMs for years. I know all about them. And so we're going to see, what does he say about it? Do I agree with him? Can I add anything to be a benefit to you? And so if you want to know if SARMs are going to actually work, what you should know about them, this is the video for you.
Lots of you fine folks in the comments are asking, Dr. Mike, what about SARMs? Well, here you go. Not that long of a video, but there's not a lot to say.
And so he says not a lot to say, but I could literally go on for hours, and I have in fact made several videos talking about almost all the SARMs that you can think of. And so if you want to know more details on each individual SARM, type the SARM name in, my name, and something probably going to show up.
Even things on like how to grow plants. There's always one bro in there that responding to no one will be like, I don't fucking take steroids, man. I do SARMs. Hey, what about SARMs? What do you think about SARMs? Hey, what about SARMs for my girl, bro?
And so a lot of people want to take SARMs. And if you ask me, more people take SARMs than in fact take steroids. SARMs are very easy to get. Unfortunately, it's a legal loophole. Steroids in many countries illegal, you can't get them, but SARMs, you type the name on the internet, you go to a website, and they send it right to your door. Very easy to get. And despite the fact that it says not for human consumption, humans are consuming it. And so it's not actually a steroid, but it has very much steroid-like effects. And so for anyone that says that SARMs don't work, they most likely haven't tried them, or they got something that's fake. And several SARMs that you order, they are going to be fake. More often than not, when you order SARMs, you're not even going to get what's on the label. Just think of it. There's no actual regulations. You're essentially buying something and hoping they're selling you what you want. It's not regulated. It's not from a pharmacy. And so you don't know what you're actually getting. But if you think of it, the same holds true for steroids. What makes you think that just because it says equipoise or anavar or D-ball that you're actually getting what's said on the label? And what are the chances that the dose on the bottle is exactly what you're going to get? Very slim to none. And so when you do in fact buy underground products, you have to be more careful than last time, because you never know what you're going to get. Just like a box of chocolates, right, Tom Hanks?
Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
And so when someone says, what is a SARM? People are going to say it's a selective androgen receptor modulator, which is a bunch of mumbo jumbo that nobody understands. No one actually knows what that actually means. And so rather than saying that, I'd like to say SARMs are like steroids, but they're supposed to have fewer side effects. They're supposed to build muscle, but without all the bad things that you've heard about anabolic steroids. You know, to have lower levels of testosterone, not to get gynecomastia, acne, hurt your liver, kidneys, your heart. The problem is they do these things. And so they're supposed to have lower risk profiles. Some SARMs are in fact more dangerous than some steroids. They suppress you even more. They have more negative side effects. And so they are in fact worse. They're supposed to be better. They're supposed to be safe, but they are not. And remember this, everything is dose dependent. The more you take of something and for the longer you take it, the worse those side effects are going to be. And depending on what kind of SARM you take, those side effects, they might be minimal, or they might be very, very serious, and you may regret you ever took them.
Here's the reality. As of the year 2023, many unfortunately actually have comparable effects to anabolic steroids. Sorry, side effects. Comparable side effects to anabolic steroids, which kind of blows. We thought they were going to be side effect free. They were not.
And so the original research on SARMs was to make them safer than steroids so that they could prescribe them in medical settings. Think of it. Why wouldn't they want to invent something that could help you to build muscle or prevent you from losing muscle? Depending on what disease you have, it could have very large applications in the medical setting. For example, I'm on HRT, testosterone. Some people, they go on HRT and their cholesterol goes out of whack. They have acne, gynecomastia, and so on. Or perhaps they just don't want to inject. They're uncomfortable with the needle. Imagine if they invented a SARM that could help you build muscle to make you feel good and have zero side effects. Would you not want to do that? Think of it. They invent a SARM, it's a pill. You take it, you put on 10 pounds of muscle, zero side effects, only good could come of it. Why would anyone not want to take it? But the problem is that pill has yet to be invented. It does not exist. And so no matter which SARM you take, there are going to be certain negative side effects that you could in fact get.
Some are pretty legit and like they have liver toxicity effects and all that stuff, so they're not risk-free. A lot of people take SARMs thinking like, fuck it, I'm just on SARMs, whatever, it doesn't matter. Ugh. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
And so I think many people, they start with SARMs. It's kind of the gateway to taking steroids because oftentimes you can get it in a pill, very easy to get, and people misinterpret it as being side effect free. They think, oh, I'll just take Ostarine, Rad 140, LGD, whatever, and I'll take it for a couple months. I'll put on 10 or 20 pounds of muscle. And then I'll stop, keep all those gains, and live happily ever after. I just want a boost. I just want to push. I just want to get there quickly. Problem is, it's not going to work. Is it possible to put on more muscle? Absolutely. Are you going to put on 10 or 20 pounds? Probably not. And if you do, most likely going to come with serious side effects. The more you stand to gain from something, oftentimes, the more dangerous the side effects are. Consider tren, perhaps the holy grail. People talk about tren all the time. There's people doing 30-day TikTok challenges, taking tren. How much muscle are you going to put on? How big can I get? Problem is, tren, one of the worst for side effects. And so although it works very well, it comes at a very high price, and I'm not talking financial. Tren, not all that cheap in comparison to the gains you get, but the dangers, the side effects, what it does to your health, not worth it, not even close.
Huge swaths per actual peer-reviewed literature of SARMs on the market are still faked. Fake fucking SARMs.
And so when they did research and they examined various SARMs on the market, oftentimes they noticed that they were fake. Whether it means that there was nothing in it as it was intended. You buy, for example, Rad 140, they test it and there's nothing in it at all. And you're thinking, oh, I tried SARMs, they do nothing. I don't think SARMs work. Well, that could in fact be because you got fake SARMs. There was nothing in it. It was snake oil. Or it could be that it says Rad 140, but they put in something much cheaper. For example, D-Ball or Winstrol. Some SARMs actually are very expensive, and you can get these things from other countries and then you can make them in bulk. But if the price of the SARM is more expensive than the price of D-Ball, and D-Ball we know in fact works, then oftentimes people would say, I'm going to pretend it's Rad 140 because somebody wants that, but inside of it, I'm going to put D-Ball because I know it works. And so somebody buys Rad 140 and they use it and they say, wow, this is amazing. It's so effective. But what they were actually taking is D-Ball. And so when people start spreading rumors, word of mouth, wow, Rad 140, it's so amazing. It builds so much muscle. Or, wow, I took Ostarine, I put on 20 pounds. It could in fact be because you took something other than what was intended to be in that package. And the problem is, you will never know. How could you know? You don't have experience with this.
Almost never are SARMs actually VAR because VAR is more expensive.
And so exactly, you're not faking a SARM with something that's very expensive like Anavar, especially considering that Anavar not going to make a very noticeable effect in low doses. You would take Anavar, unless you're a female, and you might feel a bigger pump, a little bit more muscle, but nowhere near the size gains that you're going to make by taking D-Ball. And so why would somebody fake something with something that's very expensive when they could increase their profit margins by using something much cheaper that has a bigger change in body size?
Some are absolutely effective and relatively safe. But which ones and which brand version is still up in the air.
And so here's the problem. What do we deem as being effective and what do we deem as being safe or relatively safe? That is up in the open. To say it's relatively effective, what is relatively effective? Is creatine relatively effective? Because I can tell you every single SARM that you could take works more than creatine. By far, much better gains. Not saying it's better to take, but creatine, when surveyed, many people said they don't notice anything. Even though we know that creatine is effective, when people take creatine, they don't say, wow, I put on 5 pounds. My bench press went up 50. You don't feel that. You likely won't even notice it. And so is it in fact the placebo effect? Don't know. It might be for some people, but when you take a product that's effective, doesn't mean you're going to actually notice it. I know girls who've taken Anavar and said they don't think it's working. I'm like, but your bench press went up 30 pounds in a month. Yeah, but it probably went up that anyway. They stopped taking Anavar, their bench press goes down 20 pounds the next month, and I'm like, do you believe me now? Yeah, once I stopped, I could see that it was probably working. And so many people, they don't know, they don't feel anything. Aside from a stimulant, most people don't notice the effectiveness of the supplements they're taking. For example, someone might take EctiBuilder, which is clearly working for the majority of people, and they don't notice it. Why? Well, because they didn't gain more than 5 pounds in a month. They only gained 3. You feel better, you trained harder, everything well. Oh, it's probably a placebo effect. Is it really? Same applies to creatine. And so how would I rate EctiBuilder? To me, clearly more effective than creatine. Consider it better than creatine, but some people, they don't notice it. Does that mean it doesn't work? For some people, they use EctiBuilder to make amazing gains. Some people use it to make small gains. Same applies to creatine. Some people use creatine, have no clue that's working. Did they actually take it? They have no idea. Does not mean it doesn't work, but everyone that takes a pre-workout can feel it working, at least if they take a high enough dose. But does that mean a pre-workout is more effective than creatine or EctiBuilder? I don't think so. And so what I think it's important to remember is all supplements offer marginal gains. A few percentages here, a few percentages there. Perhaps you improve by 3% with GO2 Max. Perhaps 2% with creatine. 3% with EctiBuilder. Add it up, that's 8% improvement. Add in some beta-alanine, pre-workout, and so on. Perhaps you get up 15% improvement in performance. But you know what? Not everyone notices a 15% improvement. Not everyone can feel it. Think of it. If you joined the gym natural, and I said in a year, you are going to gain 10 pounds of muscle. That's pretty good. If you add in all these supplements to say it's 15% more, that's going to be 11.5 pounds of muscle. 15% of 10 is 1.5. Add 1.5 plus 10, 11.5 pounds of muscle. Do you really think that most people can notice the difference between gaining 10 pounds of muscle and 11.5? Maybe some can, but many cannot. And so when people take Sarms, they're expecting night and day mind-blowing changes because many people, they can't feel those changes. Me, I'm very sensitive. I've stated this in videos. I can take 10 milligrams of Anavar and I know immediately I took it. I can feel it in the gym while others, girls, take the same dose. I don't notice it. And I'm thinking, I notice it and I'm a guy. How could you possibly not notice it? But they're just less sensitive. And so my advice, don't take Sarms. They're not for human consumption, and the idea of being relatively safe compared to what? Compared to snorting creatine on a Friday night? Probably safer than that. But is that really called relatively safe? I don't think so. If you get your blood work done after taking Sarms, of which I've done myself and seen others do, the most common problem I see is ASL, AST levels very high. You can see that it's putting a strain on your liver. Also, cholesterol changes, HDL goes down. And for males, what's most depressing is your testosterone levels will be low. Very low, oftentimes so low that if you went to a doctor, they would in fact prescribe you HRT. That's why I know many people who wanted HRT, all they did was take Sarms. It suppressed their production of testosterone, enough so that a doctor saw it and said, we need to give you testosterone. And so you could quite literally take Sarms, go get your blood work done. Doctor's going to say, wow, you are suppressed, you're struggling, and give you a prescription for HRT. And so you post your blood work on the internet. Wow, look at me. I have crushed testosterone levels. Is it crushed because you're dieting so hard, or is it crushed because you're taking Sarms? And so Mike Israetel saying, write in the comment section the names of Sarms companies that offer dependable and reliable sources. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to start broadcasting saying, hey, this company that sells Sarms, very effective products that I've used in the past, and I would highly recommend. I personally don't think that Sarms are safer than steroids. I don't think that you can claim you're natural if you're on Sarms and not on steroids. And Sarms most often are the gateway to taking steroids. And there are, for example, some steroids, example Anavar, that I personally believe is far safer than the majority of Sarms on the market. And so if somebody said to me, hey, I'm thinking about taking Anavar or a Sarm, which do you think is safer? I would say for the most part, probably Anavar. But that's assuming you're getting actual Anavar and not, for example, getting D-ball, which is often going to happen. You never know. You're playing Russian roulette with your health. And so why not try to maximize what you can do 100% natural? Get the supplements, for example, from Harder Than Last Time. And if you're interested, code Greg, 10% off. Do the best you can do without it and wait as long as possible. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, never could you ever take it. If you're a teenager, of course don't take it. You're not old enough. But unless you've reached your maximum genetic potential, do you really want to start this early? Why not see what you can accomplish with nothing? Train as long as humanly possible without taking anything. You could take myself for an example. Look how I looked in my 20s. I developed my physique 100% natural without taking anything. Many of you are going to say, why would you have ever taken steroids if you look like that natural? The answer is I wanted to get a pro card. I reached my natural genetic potential, couldn't get any better, wanted to keep improving, wanted to make a career out of it. And so that is what I chose to do. Do I regret it? Yes, I much prefer to have stayed 100% natural, especially especially now looking back on YouTubers and so on, I had a great physique while being 100% natural, and now I'm on HRT, would not want to go off it, and that is for the rest of my life. And so if I'd remained natural, would never have had to go on HRT. I would have had a great physique. I was doing triathlon, doing bodybuilding, doing powerlifting, and so why wouldn't I have continued? Well, the pressure of social media to look better than last time, to get a pro card, well, that is why I eventually did it.
I can't wait for anabolic drugs that grow muscle, that don't have a fraction of the side effects of steroids, because steroid side effects are awful. I think it'll be a great thing. I just don't think SARMs are dependably, in any grand sense, there yet.
And so maybe in 10 years from now, 50 years from now, they'll have these drugs. But as of right now, 2023, heading into 2024, there are no SARMs that are 100% safe that I can say and recommend and say that you can take this with no problem. And so my advice to you, stay natural, stay safe, because once you do in fact take a SARM, I don't care if it's one cycle for 8 weeks. Once you stop, you're going to lose some, if not all of those gains, and it's going to be very difficult to not want to do it again. You'll remember the physique you had a few months ago when you were taking those SARMs, and you'll want to look like that again. Why would you want to take it briefly, look amazing, for example, one summer, then the next summer not look as good as before? Most people want to continue to improve. It's very hard to stop, and I can say as a professional bodybuilder, very difficult to stop taking steroids. Once you're 200 plus pounds of muscle with single-digit body fat, it's very difficult to go natural and lose a ton of that muscle and not feel the way you used to. And so please think twice. Be safer than last time and never use steroids without the advice and consent from your doctor, and never ever break the law. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, the cookbook, the training books, the coaching plans by me and my team, my Circle Diet Book, Life Circle, How to Lose Weight and Keep It Off for the Rest of your life. And of course, code Greg, 10% off. Click the link in the description. And until next time, I am out.